Hello and welcome back to Ultimate Marble Racing Season 5. We are back with race number 6, Dungeon Dash Marble Pre. And this track is by Azure. I think this might have been a joint made track. It's one of the ones that kind of glitches out a bit. That's kind of how I can tell it's joint made. It never saves properly. This is always a little bit more annoying. But yeah, I think this was by Azure and I want to say at least one or two other people, but it's on the workshop under Azure's name. So that's who the creator is listed as. And speaking of Azure, Azure is currently leading 132 points, knocking Snorker off the top spot in the previous race. See if they can keep hold of that, or Snorker's going to fight back. Bit of a rough last race. See what happens. It's been a while. It's been a while since the last race, yeah. It's been a good few minutes. Just reading the chat. Yeah, I think it might have been Azure and Shady. I didn't want to get it wrong, but I think it was Azure and Shady. I can't remember if there was a third involved. Might have just been them two. Maybe Alfonso as well. Yeah. Sure, someone could probably say, if you know, drop it in the comments below or something. If you want to correct us. Got us locked up already. Really good at dungeon tracks. Big talk by Snorker. We'll see what happens. So over to the track. Here we go. The dungeon. An interesting, quite compact track. But before we have a look around, of course, gotta do predictions. Start a prediction. DNFs. How many DNFs will there be? Get those predictions in. Got 2 minutes to do so. Is my speed? So yes, it has. There we go. So it starts off going through the doors into the dungeon. A spiral going down, opening up into a straight little triangle bumps to get around. Shouldn't cause too much trouble, I'm sure. Then through this gate or fence thing. Down the tunnel. Around this pillar and past the saw blades. Try not to get chopped up there. An S section throwing you down into the dungeon, and this is where it gets interesting and a little bit chaotic. Workshop doesn't mention the collaborator. Interesting. Giving no. Oh, Brain just has completely given up today. Yeah. Not credit. That's the word. Giving no credit to the collaborators. There we go. Brain, turn on. Been a long day. Been a long week. So the spinning axe. Got to be careful there. Yes, yeah. Tell me honestly. And then we have these bumpers that'll push you up. You want to try and get over this edge, down into the cogs through this little maze-looking section. There's one way down the bottom you might be able to get through if you're lucky. Otherwise, you have to navigate some of these obstacles and past all the poor souls that didn't make it out. And exiting through these swinging axes. And then a nice thank you sign for visiting the dungeon. And across the line and up to the starting grid again. Now there is a good chance the first lap may give a fastest lap, and that fastest lap may stand with the finish line being there, the start line being up here. Depends how quick people go. We'll have to see. But with the DNF prediction coming to an end, Let's get everyone in. So front row, we have Jimmy, Stardust, Shady, and Eggbot. On the back row, Azure, Wheat, Wurt, and Demon. Snork is going to be looking to pick up some big points here ahead of Azure. Starting second row, so a good chance from the get-go. Let's see how it plays out. 12 laps, timer counting down. And they're off through the doors and around the spiral. It looks like Snork is going to take the lead early, but getting pushed about a bit. I think Pesky Bird pushing them wide there. Going to drop a few positions going down the slope. Stardust is going to go into the lead. Snorker dropping quite far back. And going to the saw blade, Shady hitting one of the blades straight on. Stardust is going to take an early lead, nearly getting pushed over the edge by Jimmy. Bit of a pile up further back and into the dungeon. Stardust a little bit slow into the axe, not a great landing. Shady's going to go up into first. Jimmy just behind Alfonso, not quite making the jump. Does make it, smashing Pesky Bird into the wall. Going to slow Pesky Bird down a bit, lose some time. Snork trying to fight their way back up through the pack. Still ahead of Azure, and that is what counts for Snorker. See a prediction on Eggbot taking the win. That would be interesting, but Jimmy out of the dungeon already. A strong lead from the start. Eggbot in second. Shady, a rough hit there. Superboss with an incredible line. And going on to lap 2, Superboss will be second. Eggbot third. Shady fourth. Fludes fifth. Demon just behind in sixth. And Snorker having difficulties with the dungeon. Words coming back to haunt them with all that confidence on the dungeon track. Jimmy redemption, it could be. But it is early. Have to see if Jimmy can keep this momentum going. And then behind we have a battle going on. Eggbot and Superboss side by side. Shady and Demon just behind. Fludes and Alfonso joining this group. Superboss breaking away. Eggbot getting caught up in the saw blades. Keeps hold of third at least. Shady is just behind. Going into the dungeon, Jimmy making good pace through here. Eggbot is going to go through ahead of that group, but getting overtaken by Superboss and Shady going into the cogwheels. See Snorker having difficulties yet again, losing some time there. And Jimmy out the other side already. Eggbot going out in second. Azure just behind. Very strong by Azure. Snorker still in the dungeon. Does make it out. Currently in 11th. They've got Boer, Wheat, Iceman, Stardust trailing behind at the moment. But Jimmy breaking away up at the front. Eggbot and Azure side by side. Eggbot a bit slow through there, but Azure with a great line is going to go up into second. A big hit on that pillar is going to lose that position straight away back to Eggbot. And Superboss is just behind. Then Shady, Flues, Pesky Bird, Moo, and Demon all close together. Azure having a great day so far, indeed. Just feeling it today. In flow state. Oh, a little, almost like there's going to be a team play there, but didn't quite play off. And Azure's in trouble now. Definitely not been jinxed. But it's looking quite good for the Green Slushies team as a whole here at the moment with a 5th, 8th, and 9th. But Jimmy right now storming away. Just untouchable up at the front. Eggbot and Superboss battling out. Superboss with some really good lines through that final section. He's going to move up into second. Moo a bit slow on the exit. Flute is going to come past. Pesky Bird gets blocked. And then we've got Shady and Azure joining them. Balls of Steel having a stinker. It's not looking great so far. Flute's doing okay up in 4th. But Stardust and Boer 13th and 14th, not great for the team points. I think Superboss might be closing the gap a bit on Jimmy. bit slow through that section. It's going to be a tough chase, and Snorker really far behind right now. May have jinxed himself from the start, and Jimmy with some trouble on the axe after such a big lead is having troubles in this section at getting out. It's not looking good, and Jimmy's just dropping positions here. Finally making it out the other side, but dropping from 1st to 8th, that was quite punishing, and Superboss is going to take the #1 spot. And breaking away as well, trying to make a big lead. Moo with a good line, does get blocked by Eggbot, but it's not a good enough block. Shady just creeping through, finds the gap and makes use of it, goes up into 2nd. Moo in 3rd, Eggbot down to 4th. Then we have Azur and Pesky Bird just behind. Here comes Alfonso, Jimmy and Fludes. Fludes dropping to 9th, Stardust going up to 10th. We've got Wheat in 11th, Demon in 12th, Iceman in 13th, Cheese just behind in 14th, Boy in 15th, and Snorker struggling a bit in 16th. Now up at the front, going into the dungeon once again. It's a good start to the dungeon by Superboss. Going through quite smooth here. Even better by Moo and Pesky Bird. Shady gets a good line too. Eggbot straight through. Green Slushy's doing really well here. Maybe they did all have some input on this big home advantage play. Pick up some big points for the Green Slushies team. And it looks like Moo is going to get past Superboss and go up into the lead. Superboss not quite getting that line that they have been previously through that section. Means Moo will keep hold of that lead. Pesky Bird with a good line gets past Shady. Eggbot getting past Alfonso and Azur. And then Fludes just behind Jimmy in 9th, behind Fludes. Still on the fastest lap, may hold it all the way to the end just to get that extra point. Then we have Stardust, and in the dungeon, Weep and Iceman leaving. Whir and Demon just behind. Cheese and then Snorker just making their way through. Snorker may even be at risk of getting lapped this race. Really not going well for them. Just not their day today. Gonna have to train and come back stronger next week. Shady now right behind Moo with a good launch through the dungeon. Superboss and Pesky Bird side by side, trying to close that gap on his Eggbot going a bit slow through there. Fludes going to be right behind them. And Shady's got a good exit from the dungeon, will be just in front of Moo, going to play the block on the corner. But Moo with a better exit line. Going on to lap 7, Moo will be just in front of Shady. Then we have Azur followed by Superboss. Very close together. Pesky Bird, Fludes, Eggbot. Eggbot overtaking Fludes there with a great line. Stardust just exiting the dungeon. Alfonso dropped down to 9th. Then Jimmy and Weep. Side by side, Weep is going to get past Jimmy in a better line on the exit. Then it's Boyer in 12th, Cheese in 13th, Demon 14th, Iceman 15th, and Snorker still in 16th. Now up at the front we have quite the battle going on between Shady and Moo, fighting it out around these corners, but they've got to be careful because Superboss and Azur are lurking just behind. And Shady doesn't quite get enough speed from the axe. He's going to have to go around again. It's not enough speed yet again. Superboss is going to move up into first, getting past Moo. Going to keep blocking Moo out through this dungeon maze. I say it's a maze. It's more like corridors. It's not much of a maze. And wow, what a absolute line by Superboss there out of nowhere. Getting flicked straight out of the exit. And once again trying to break away in the lead away from Moo. Shady getting released in third. Pesky Bird and Azure side by side, battling it out for fourth, heading to the uphill. Fluids going out now. Eggbot just in front of Stardust, and then Alfonso. Jimmy having some difficulties here. Is going to get overtaken by their teammate Iceman. They'll be going out just behind each other. Cheese heading around to the exit now. Followed by a Demon, Whir, and Weep. And Eggbot is off the track. It's always where we're not looking. Eggbot is off the track. I don't know if we caught that at all. It might have been just off camera. But a disaster for Eggbot. F's in the chat for Eggbot, as that is the end to their race. Going quite strong as well. Up in top 10. It's all falling apart. All falling apart on lap 8. Unfortunate end to the race. I'm sure everyone is distraught. Everyone is gutted by that incident. Everyone's favourite racer going off track. But up at the front, going on to lap 9, Superboss is leading. Shady in second. Wasn't on camera, unfortunately. I thought it was just off the camera. It's always the case. It's always the case, and there's no way to run a replay. So Superboss still looking strong up at the front. Shady trying to chase them down. It's going to be a tough one though. The second I look away, a replay feature in Marble Wood 2 would be great. If we get a Marble Wood 2, that would be great. But I think Marble Wood's now at a point where it's going to remain in this this state. I don't think we're getting a sequel. I think it's at the end of its development cycle. Been testing a potential sequel, really? Oh, I'm intrigued now. That would be great. Is that no updates or DLC, but maybe a sequel in a few years? Oh, that's a good idea. So we're on an ad break at the moment, so... Oh, teasing, not testing. Oh, teasing. I said testing, didn't I? That's for trying to quickly read it. I would happily see another one. I'm guessing it's because there's limitations on this engine, right? We'll go back to the race in just a second. There's limitations on this engine, right? Wasn't that the issue with some of the changes and development that people would have liked? So I'm guessing the idea of the sequel is to be on a more versatile engine to allow more versatility, more uses, and more content, which is a massive plus in my books. I feel there's a lot of potential that can be squeezed out of it, a lot more potential from it. So that sounds all positive to me. Now I know there's probably quite a few people on ads that didn't hear any of that. I may end up having to repeat myself. But currently, going towards lap 11, Superboss has got quite a strong lead right now. Shady in a bit of trouble here. Does make it round with Azure just behind. Pesky Bird having some trouble. Just getting flicked back up repeatedly. Fluids is going to come past and move up into fourth. But Pesky Bird does make it out just behind. And we have Moo followed by Alfonso. So still looking good for the green slushies. Looking strong for them. Snorker has managed to get up a couple of positions. He's in front of Cheese and Demon now. We see Superboss coming into the dungeon once again. You're not sure it's real teas or just purely hypothetical sequel. When those other game ideas, those might get priority. That makes sense. And yeah, Pesky getting a little bit bullied in the dungeon. Yeah, seeing a sequel on like a more versatile engine would be absolutely amazing, in my opinion. Opening up so much more potential for things and more tools, more support for custom content maybe. Would be great to see. It'd be great to see what sort of tracks would come out of it and how we could even add more exciting stuff to the races and maybe more Twitch support. Would be amazing. So going on to the final lap, Superboss is leading. Still, big lead. Very big lead. Shady's going to have to pull something out of the bag here to have a chance at taking that #1 spot. Azur in third, looking really good for Azur in the standings in the current position. And not so good for Snorker right now. Now Snorker has managed to get up to 12th. Few extra points. Does count. Yeah, back to the racing talk now. Getting a little bit sidetracked. It could definitely be worse. But as you say, that Snorker has dropped 13th. Weep has managed to take that spot back. Oh, Shady's going for a late play here on Superboss. Closing that gap fast and making the overtake into the dungeon. Lapping Cheese. See what happens through this section. Superboss having some difficulties. Not going to be able to get the overtake there. Looks like this could be Shady's here. I think it's going to be coming around the final corner. It's a late play by Shady, but it's a good one, and it is enough to take the win. Shady taking the win, Superboss close behind in second. Now Pesky Bird currently in third. Azur's dropped back a few positions. The real trouble is Azur doing well. Yes, it's going to cause you some difficulties in the standings. There we go, Pesky Bird coming across the line in third. Stardust is going to take fourth. Moo going to take fifth. And here comes Azur. In fact, Fluge is going to try and run past, but Azur has a better exit line. It was close, but Azur is going to keep hold of sixth. Fluge takes seventh. Jimmy takes eighth and still holding that fastest lap. Alfonso takes ninth. It's good for the green slushies. These finishing positions can be good for them in the team standings. Iceman in 10th. The two Icebreakers finishing around mid-table is not so bad. Weep coming across in 11th. Wur's going to take 12th. Demon will take 13th. And Snorker dropping a few positions on this final lap. Will be having to settle with a 14th. Going across the line there. See Pesky third. And it is going to be Cheese taking that 15th position, and Eggbot with a DNF taking 16th. And crossing the line, there goes Cheese. So I guess speed up time, the 60-second counter to count down to officially DNF Eggbot. Oh, the wagers, the predictions, doesn't look like it's going well for people. Hoping for one more DNF that just didn't come through. It can be tough. Yeah, it was unfortunate for Eggbot. Let them suffer. Ah, poor Eggbot. Had an alright start to this season after a disaster of a debut season last season, but I guess the old habits are returning. The AI has not been training quite long enough to master this. And there we go. So over to the winning marble cam. Shady, congratulations on the win. good race. It looked like Superboss was going to be taking it, so just strong lead through the most of it, but Shady coming through on the final lap, timing it just right to take that win. Fun track, it was fun. 2 good races. Once again, it's what we like to see. Keep them exciting, keep them interesting. So don't forget, prediction outcome, and it looks like we had no one getting it right. I nearly clicked the wrong one and had you win the wager anyway. There we go, correcting myself. Make sure I don't click the wrong one. Yeah, everyone was thinking that there was going to be at least 2. But no, there was just the one. The dungeon is not quite as brutal as you think. But now I'm going to go and put the results over on the leaderboard, and I'll be back in just a minute with the standings. Alright, the results have been entered, and I can see the chat has taken a strange turn to talking about Cher for some reason. Is that in reference to a song? And then talking about them being French? Just very random for me to come back to the chat. I was trying to work out what exactly was going on. And Cher is apparently touring, right? Is that what's going on? Oh, I see. Nice. It's still touring though. That surprised me as well, actually. Haven't heard much from Cher for quite a while, personally. But yeah, aside from all of that, let's head over and look at the updated standings. So it's looking interesting after that race. Azur extending the lead, 152 points in first. Faludes now in second with 131. Moo now in third with 127. Snorker knocked out of the top 3 entirely after today's races. 4th place with 126 points. Wirt in 5th with 112. Superboss in 6th with 109. Eggbot in 7th with 104. Shady in 8th, tied with Pesky Bird with 103. Iceman in 10th with 100. And then below that we have Cheese, Alfonso, Stardust, Jimmy, Wheat, and Demon. So it's a tough one for Snorker today. See what happens next week though. See if Snorker can turn things around and fight back. Or is this going to be the start of an Azur dominance? Interesting things. In the team standings, Green Slushies, no surprise after that race, are now leading 114 points. Snowball is in second with 112. Balls of Steel in third with 110. Then we have Tutti Frutti, followed by Grandmasters and Ultraviolets, tied for that 5th place. Then Eternal Darkness, Dogeballs, Icebreakers, and Marble Minions, both tied at the bottom. Iceman only 52 behind the leader, all chilled. See what he did there. Yeah, there's still plenty of chances for everyone. Azurely not. The puns. The puns. The puns are everywhere right now. So yeah, interesting results following today's races. Really shaking things up a bit. And Green Slushy is looking strong as a team right now. Now, was it a bit of home turf coming into play in that? Maybe. We'll have to see going forward. Anyone that's bugged that Azur's marble colour isn't Azur coloured. Well, that's because it's not a Team Azur. They're green slushies. So it's just the way it is. Yeah, Cheese also isn't Cheese. Cheese's Doge. Not sure if we have anyone else that this really applies to. Stardust. Stardust a killer. Iceman. Technically could be an icy marble. We have got the blue lava, which does kind of work for it. Eggbot. See if we had like a robotic skin. Would have been perfect for Eggbot. But unfortunately we don't. Stardust could have the space skin. Yeah, Stardust could be part of the Grandmasters. Balls of Steel looks a bit robotic in a way, yeah. There's a team called Icebreakers, not that I had any choice. Yeah. Kind of just had to go with that one really, didn't you, with the name. Would love it if Eggbot joined Balls of Steel. I don't think Eggbot will ever leave their home team. I think Eggbot is a dedicated Grandmaster with the space skin. Reminds Eggbot of their home planet and the starry skies of space while they're up in their ship. You can learn more about that in the Discord. Eggbot's always chiming into conversations. But yeah, that is going to do it for this one. Some good races. We've had some decent views as well on these live streams, the past couple of streams, which has been absolutely amazing. Really appreciate the support. It's great. Hopefully we can keep that going forward. Try and get more people involved, as always. But yeah, that is going to do it for now. See, we're saying bye to YouTube again, but it's also going to be bye to Twitch because that is the end of the stream. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.